What is the saddest thing you have found at a thrift store? A faded picture of two very happy dogs, still inside the picture frame. I bought it because I liked the paw print frame. When I took the picture out, there was an elderly person's cursive note that read, "My best friends." I kept the picture inside behind my own best friend's picture. Smiling face with tear. I've always been interested in the women military pilots of World War II who were known as WASPs, Women Air Force Service Pilots. They flew fighters, bombers, and other aircraft in all kinds of non-combat missions. I was thrilled to find a history of the WASPs in my local thrift that was actually owned by one of them. Also sad, because I did some research and saw that she died in a local nursing home. Her book should have been kept and cherished by her family. She was a true American hero, and I will give her book a place of honor. As an artist, it's the paintings with messages to loved ones on the back for me. Stuff only gets there for two reasons. Its owner passed away or it was just unwanted, so it's sad either way. I used to work for thrift stores. I sorted brought-in items and made them ready to be sold in the stores. Here are two of the saddest dark things I found. 1. The diary of a child that described the parents divorcing, the mother getting another boyfriend that was abusive towards the kid when the mother wasn't around, the mom not believing the child when they told her what he did. 2. A suicide note. Both things were thrown away. A book about the U.S. national parks. It appears to have been gifted to a couple on their wedding in 1971. They spent their honeymoon and many years after traveling to various parks and leaving notes in the margins about the things they did saw. The dates on the notes seem to start in the early 70s and end in the mid-80s. Not sure how the book ended up at a thrift store, but it's full of someone's treasured memories with their person. I haven't been to any national parks since I found the book, but I would like to see more of them, and I am absolutely planning on continuing to leave notes in the book when I do. Found some soap. Someone donated bars of soap. So many adult diapers. That means they're dead. Bought a nice carving knife and the handle had a last name on it. The worker said it was donated by the last living member of said family who did not have children. It was an heirloom. I worked at a very small second-hand store in a small mountain town when I was in high school. There was a toy unicorn there that was uglier than most sins you can think of, like ugly beyond description kind of rubber plastic thing. I wanted to take it, mostly because I love unicorns, but I was getting ready to go to college and didn't need things. When I worked, I always tried to put it somewhere people would see it, and I may or may not have talked with it when no one else was around. Late 80s, no cameras, so it definitely never happened. One day a tourist couple came in with their young daughter and she saw the unicorn, fell in love immediately, and would not leave without it. Her parents kept asking if she didn't want something else. I didn't charge them anything for it because she was so in love. So sad, ugly, lost thing, but I hope it found its happy ending. I keep finding copies of this one self-published book signed by the author with the recipients' names in them. Used to work for Goodwill. I think the saddest things for me were all of the pictures. A few times it was someone coming to me with tears in their eyes because their parent had passed and the step-parent, spouse of the decedent, had donated everything out of either spite or not caring what the child thought. I gave one lady back the items her stepmother donated despite the fact that it could have gotten me fired. I never understood how people could donate their wedding dresses until a lady explained that her daughter had gotten divorced and couldn't stand to look at it anymore. When I worked at Goodwill, people would donate big totes of things, and when you looked through them it was obvious they were cleaning out some elderly person's house and just not sorting through the presumed junk before donating it. One box contained photo albums, newspaper clippings about births and weddings and awards these people won, a wedding certificate, that sort of thing. Someone once donated a box from a coroner's office that when opened contained a set of clothes, a wallet, some keys, and a Sherry F's badge. It's sad to think one day your most prized possessions, the records of your existence, will be tossed out absent-mindedly. And on the topic of working in donations at Goodwill, shortly before I worked there, someone donated a bundle of dynamite, and the attendant decided the best course of action was to pick it up and walk it across the back room to hand it off to the manager. And so it was drilled into my head when I started working there that you look at something before you pick it up. I worked at one for a short time. A woman would come in several times a week, always buying a few kids' toys at a time. I asked her about who she was buying for, and she explained they were to leave on her toddler daughter's grave. She'd been doing it for more years than the child had lived. When frames albums still have pictures in. Sad that no one cares, or maybe exists, to keep them and remember. An urn filled with someone's ashes. 40 of the same shirts in brand new condition that said, Donna's 91st birthday bash. I don't think Donna hung around long enough to attend. Not a thrift store but a free library. There was a picture of the original owner of the book, with a description of his life and a note to say he loved to share things, and he'd want to share this book. It was during the first serious lockdown for COVID, so it hit me hard. I also loved the book. Cookbooks with personal messages. They were a gift and they just discarded it. I even had pictures and letters tucked in the pages. Somebody's ashes in a beautiful mahogany box. We lost a very dear, old friend when I was around 19, friend of the family, like second grandparents to me. His wife passed away shortly thereafter. A few years after both their deaths, I found a piece of furniture he made for her in a thrift store. He wrote a sweet note on the back with their specific names. I found a beautiful ornate box that after examining it closer saw it contained a pet named Marvin's ashes. Crying face.